Today, we're going to talk about what inspired the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, it is true that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was partially inspired by real-life killer Ed Gein, but that's not what this video is about. Still, if you want to know more about Ed Gein, you can check out some of my previous videos I did on him, which I'll link to in the description below. Now, to put it plainly, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre wouldn't be the same without, well, a chainsaw. I mean, it's right there in the title. Ed Gein, however, isn't exactly known for wielding a chainsaw. So, what inspired Tobe Hooper to unleash a chainsaw massacre on the public? Well, that's where things get a little creepy. You see, it was around Christmas and Tobe Hooper was doing a little bit of shopping for the season. And he was in a crowded department store. Picture something like a Sears. There were thousands of other shoppers around him, and it was really starting to get on his nerves. He was making his way through the crowd and couldn't wait to get out. That's when he found himself in front of a chainsaw display. That's when something sinister popped into his mind. If he picked up a chainsaw and started that bad boy up, people would get out of his way pretty quickly, and then he'd be able to navigate his way out of the department store much more easily. While driving home, Hooper's mind went to work on what he had thought about in the department store, and he decided that he was going to incorporate the chainsaw into an idea he had already been working on about young people in isolation.
Is anybody here?
And that, my friends, is how the Texas Chainsaw Massacre came to be. So, the massacre may be over, but the horror is just beginning. If you want to be a part of it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and follow the Big TH on social media for future updates.
2003, nearly 30 years after the release of the original film, it was time for Leatherface to get a fresh start in a remake.
You're so dead you don't even know it.
That being said, let's take a look back at the remake and go over 10 things you might have not known about the movie. Number 1. Leatherface was originally going to kill Jedediah by impaling him with his chainsaw as punishment for helping Aaron escape. This scene was cut out because it was considered to be too brutal. Number 2. After filming for his character Wrapped, Eric Balfour stripped off all of his clothes, tossed them to the crew, and walked off the set while only wearing a baseball cap. Number 3. During her audition, Erica Learson screamed so loud that people in other parts of the building thought that someone was being attacked, so they called the police. Number 4. It was announced that Marilyn Manson was going to be the composer for the movie, but he had to back out due to scheduling conflicts. Number 5. Originally, Jessica Biel's character, Erin, was going to be pregnant, which is why she didn't smoke any weed or drink the water in Mexico.
Why do you think I haven't been drinking or smoking or doing anything this entire trip? Did you think about that?
And I don't know. Okay, I mean, I can't read your mind. I'm trying, but...
I'm pregnant. You're gonna be a dad, Kemper.
Number 6. Speaking of Jessica Biel, she wasn't the only actress considered for the role of Erin. Hell, she wasn't even the only Jessica considered for the role. Jessica Alba was considered, as was Katie Holmes and Kirsten Dunst. As a matter of fact, Lauren German, the actress who plays the hitchhiker in the beginning of the movie, originally tried out for the role of Erin. Number 7. Gunnar Hansen, the actor who played Leatherface in the original movie, was asked if he'd like to appear in this film as the truck driver near the end of the movie. However, like many times before, Hansen wanted more money than what the studio was willing to pay him. Number 8. The scene in the van with R. Lee Ermey and Jonathan Tucker is particularly intense. One thing that lended to the intensity of the scene is that Jonathan Tucker would force the barrel of the pistol down his throat to intentionally make himself puke. If you look, you can actually see vomit coming out of his mouth in the scene. Number 9. This remake does pay homage to the original. When Erin pulls out a knife, she says that she got it from her brother.
Big brothers.
In the original, Franklin is particularly fond of his knife and lets his sister, Sally, borrow it.
Let me see your knife. Thank you.
Which she never returns.
What are you doing?
I can't find my knife.
That knife will do you any good. He likes that knife, remember?
When did you have it last?
Well, I didn't have it last. You had it last. I gave it to you, remember? What'd you do with it?
Well, I don't know. Didn't I give it back to you?
No, I didn't have it when I got out of the van. You just never gave it back to me.
All right, I'll look for it.
Number 10. Dolph Lundgren was approached for the role of Leatherface but declined, saying that he would like to spend more time with his family and couldn't accept any roles at that time. Tobe Hooper's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of the most infamous movies of all time and is also known for being one of the most successful independent films of all time. It would serve as inspiration and pave the way for other indie filmmakers around the world. However, a lot of things went on behind the scenes for this film to get where it's at today. That being said, let's take a look at some things you didn't know about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Number 1. Art director Robert A. Burns went on to work on several notable horror productions. He famously reutilized props from the Hitchhiker's Bizarre Sculpture collection as the Jupiter Clan's tribal decorations in The Hills Have Eyes. He would also work as art director on Tourist Trap, The Howling, Full Moon High, Microwave Massacre, and Reanimator. Number 2. While shooting the dinner scene, Marilyn Burns was actually cut on the finger when Leatherface cuts the tip of her finger to feed Grandpa. Gunnar Hansen admits to being crazy at that point in filming and wanted to get the scene done with. Therefore, he took the tape off of the knife blade, which was used to keep the knife dull, and actually cut the tip of her finger. Number 3. While the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is often entirely attributed to the true story of Ed Gein, the idea for a killer using a chainsaw for a weapon came to Tobe Hooper while he was Christmas shopping of all things. He was in a crowded store and thought how convenient it would be if he could cut his way through the crowd with a chainsaw. Number 4. Gunnar Hansen wore 3-inch heels so he could appear taller than his actual, already formidable height of 6'4". This caused major issues for him while filming, as he would constantly hit his head on set pieces. Number 5. Gunnar Hansen didn't like Paul A. Partain while shooting the film. However, he found out that Paul Partain was a method actor and was just staying in character the whole time on set, which was very annoying. The two would meet again years later and become great friends. Number 6. Had the film's events played out in real life, Sally Hardesty may not have been so lucky. While filming the movie's 2 extended chase scenes, it became clear that Gunnar Hansen was much faster than Marilyn Burns, even despite toting a chainsaw along with him, and had to repeatedly slow down in his approach. Number 7. A couple different titles were kicked around before ultimately choosing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The original working titles were Head Cheese, Leatherface, and Stalking Leatherface, which sounds kind of silly, like it could be a modern-day romantic comedy. Number 8. The narrator at the beginning of the film, John Larroquette, says that he was paid with a joint for his participation participation. Number 9. Despite seeming entirely inarticulate, Leatherface's grunts and mumbles are actually listed out as lines in the script. Not that they're any more understandable that way. Number 10. Despite being one of the most recognized horror films of all time and its major financial success, the total amount of money the film grossed will never be truly known. In addition to this, the cast and crew never saw any of the profits or received the amount of money they should have gotten. Unfortunately, the original distributor for the film was Bryanston Distribution Company, which was ran by the Mafia. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Bryanston Distribution Company was only used as a front to launder massive amounts of money that the company had made off of a porno, Deep Throat. Basically, the company only allowed enough money to come through to pay off the investors, and they gave the cast and crew a whopping $405 each. Eventually, the mafia man behind the operation, Louis Butchie Periano, would get busted for his shady dealings for Deep Throat. The cast and crew for Chainsaw sued him and got a little bit of cash out of it, but it's nothing near what they should have earned off of the film. And that
All right, what is going on, everyone? Can you hear me right now? I just want to do an audio check, make sure everyone can hear me. Please let me know in the comments if you can. Okay, what's up, Evan? What's going on? Okay, so we are having a problem. I was testing a new setup and Jesus Christ, I don't know why my webcam is not working. So, I'm trying a couple things here. This just started happening 5 minutes before I was due to go live, which go figure that. And I'm not sure why at all. So give me just a moment, if you will, because it seems like my camera is not communicating with my computer. It's like my computer isn't picking it up all of a sudden. And I'm not sure why. Not sure at all. Not sure at all. And I can't even get it to connect directly to the program that I am on. New setups, man. New setups. Yeah, Harry did it. Harry did it. I blame it on him. Yeah, always something. I'm not sure why this is happening. Give me 1 second, folks. 1 second. Okay, so if everyone can hear me, this is as good as I can get it. I don't know what happened. Okay, and there's Anna. So she's up and running.
I'm here.
Hello,
I
Anna.
am here, aren't I? I was just texting you like, what can I be doing to help?
I have no clue what happened. So apparently at some point my computer decided it was going to shit the bed. So
Nightmare.
I've tried both webcams. I have two and neither are working right now.
Sucks. That's weird. There's some kind of like connection, something that's happening.
Yeah.
It sucks. And I'm in messy space, but hi everybody. Well, should we just on with the show, or what do you want to do? Do you need some more time? Does it sound like I'm in the halls of Montezuma? I've got feedback issues.
Oh my God, you do?
Rad. That is what I'm hearing. Okay. I don't know how to troubleshoot feedback issues. What has gone wrong today?
I really don't know. I don't hear feedback from you.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I do.
Shit. I don't know what to do.
Go
Turn
to
my
your
mic.
settings and audio. Change speaker to AirPods and mic to your Yeti.
On my AirPods. Let's see. Audio. My mic is on my Yeti. Here we go. Let's see.
Right.
AirPods. There. Is that better?
Is that better?
Is that better,
I don't hear
everyone?
myself now.
Yes.
Okay.
It's people could hear you when I speak. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We're good now. We win. Yay, we win.
As far as I'm aware, we are
All right.
good. Yes.
Yeah.
So
You know who's standing behind me? EHC? It's Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is standing behind me.
Yeah. So
There he is. I hear reverb like my crate amp in the 90s. Awesome, Trav. Hopefully we fixed it now, right? We're good?
I hope.
Sound is coming through.
What's
my
up,
AirPods
Chris
instead of my
Harris? What's
computer.
going on, bro?
Chris. Hi, Chris. Good to see you too. Okay.
Yeah, so who knows? Who knows what the fuck is going on here? But
Harry, so this is what we get for live streaming in a haunted house.
yeah.
Right?
Is anyone
This
else
is it.
getting some static? I see Everything Horror Collector saying he's getting some static. Anna, do you hear static?
Bueller.
Okay.
I don't. But if it's coming when I speak, I won't hear it. So
It totally is.
now Anna's making static.
Jesus God. Well, look in your settings again. Make sure those are all correct.
I'm gonna reduce my background noise and see if it helps. How about that?
Okay.
Testing. Oh, hey, I see you.
Oh my God.
I see you, Steven. It's getting worse from both y'all. Great. Oh, but I see you now. You're there. I see you. The host has unmuted your mic. Oh. Was I muted?
Okay, yeah, fuck. Okay, leave the studio and just come back. Okay, what's up, everyone? Are you still getting static from me? Is there still static from me? Okay, it's good. Okay. Anna, are you there?
I'm here. How do I sound?
You much better.
Weird. I didn't do anything differently.
No.
But I'm glad it works. We've never had this trouble. Even on the road, we don't have this kind of trouble. This is weird. No, yeah, I've got my AirPods in today because right before we were supposed to go on, my headset that I usually use, just my computer, like it disappeared from my computer. Like it's not, they're not on there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no clue what the fuck happened to my setup in the last 10 minutes, but as you could see, you were down here. I was setting everything up perfectly, and everything worked. And then I went to do something and come back, and I noticed the webcam is frozen. It doesn't work. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Chad, the fucking California internet sucks balls. Like,
too many people on it.
I don't know how that's possible with the infrastructure out here, but how, like, I could live in a field in the woods and have better internet. I'll never understand that shit.
I know, and we have fiber optic here, so it's even more bizarre.
Yeah, like you guys have fiber optic. I was on a fucking buried cable that runs through the yard, and
yeah.
But I don't know if that's the problem or not. I was doing some quick research on why my webcam wouldn't be working.
Mm-hmm.
And it was saying, broadband issues. So
okay, sure.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it didn't have enough juice to send it out there, but I don't know, man.
Weird. Yeah, JP, we're on the 1 gig fiber optic. We should be.
Yeah, we should be blazing. Yeah,
but we're not. Yeah, and so like when I was dealing with my headset issue, and I was plugging things and unplugging things and trying to figure that out, and I couldn't get my AirPods to connect to the computer, so I had to turn my phone off because it just kept automatically connecting to my phone. And then I was, like I said, I was plugging and unplugging. I accidentally like shut down my computer. So like right before we got on, I was like rebooting my computer the whole day. It was like,
oh my God.
So when I was able to get back up and I get on and you're not there because your webcam isn't working, I was like, what?
What is Starlink, EHC? You're going to have to explain that shit to me. Starlink. That shit just sounds like fancy, whatever the hell it is.
Space internet. I want space internet. Can we have space internet?
Oh shit.
Whatever
we need the old space internet.
I'm all for it. Space internet.
Hell yeah.
Looks like I got some
Windows
today.
Went all wonky over here. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, and I will rank these bad boys, all of these films, in order, and see how that goes for us. We're going to bring Everything Horror Collector on to talk with us here in just a few minutes.
Yes. But first,
Yes, but first, we're going to talk about the last voyage of the Demeter, which we had just recently seen in theaters. And this was one, if you all remember, we were really wanting to check that bad boy out. We really wanted to see
I was
if
excited.
this one was good. Like, we were hyped for it.
Mm-hmm.
We were hyped for it. We thought it was going to be a good one. It was like, it's a nice period piece movie. It obviously follows the single chapter in the book Dracula, which is written through or presented through the captain's log, and that's how the story is told. Mm-hmm. And basically, the Demeter is the ship he takes from Romania to
London.
And once it gets there, it's like a ghost ship. Everyone is dead on the ship. It sells itself into the harbor. And pretty simple, pretty straightforward setup there. It's a spooky concept in and of itself. You don't have to do a lot with it. I really like the concept. But in typical Hollywood fashion, they overthought the story. Now, you liked it more than I
beg to differ. Yeah.
I don't know how you could differ from that, because you agree on it. You do agree that...
I think, so someone already mentioned, it's Chad, waiting for the sequel. So I think the fact that they spent the last 2 minutes of the movie setting you up for a sequel, that is the only part of the plot that I thought was over complicated. I didn't mind that they gave us... So for sure, the captain died.
Dude, you're static again.
No.
This has to be an internet issue, right? Am I staticky?
Not
Anna?
to me. I can't hear you. I can't hear any static for you. So it must just be me. But I don't know what to do about it.
Anyone else getting some static from either of us? Yeah, only Anna.
And I'm on my Yeti mic. I'm on a good mic.
I'm going to remove you from the stream. Try plugging it into a different USB.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, so the last trip of the Demeter, like I said, pretty basic setup, pretty straightforward. The problem is the ending. Chad asks, did I get the claustrophobic vibes? Yes, I did. It was claustrophobic. I liked the set. I liked the lighting. I liked the fact that it took place at night, most of it. It was rainy as shit. It was, it gave you a really spooky vibe, and I enjoyed it, but I wasn't crazy about it. I wasn't, they changed some things up, and to me, they wrote it with a sequel in mind, and I think that was a huge oversight. I think they should have... Here, we're going to bring Anna back and see if she's all better. How you sound?
Testing.
Much better.
Jeez.
Yeah, so they brought... I think they just overthought it. They wanted to have some sort of epic fucking franchise out of a film called The Last Voyage of the Demeter. And it was like, who the fuck is this character? Why do we know, like you said, you brought it up. It's like, we know he doesn't hunt Dracula. We know he does, he doesn't exist in the lore apart from this movie. And it's like they wrote this movie just because they wanted to create a franchise. And I did not like that.
Yeah, I think that, but I think that's the failure. is that they had a sequel in mind, and that's really the only failure. Like, I don't mind. So in the book, the only character you get is the captain, so they were going to have to invent characters no matter what. And the fact that they tried to give you one who's got enough of a backstory to where you can kind of care about whether or not he makes it, and that you can kind of care about like what makes him different from the other characters. So sailors are kind of notoriously superstitious, so you knew that they were going to come at it from a certain angle, and so dropping a character in who was going to come at it from what we would think of as a more kind of rational modern mindset, like they created a character who would do that, whereas like most seafaring folk would not have. Right. So I don't mind any of that. Like that didn't bother me at all. Like I thought they created kind of an interesting character, but I think they tried too hard, especially in the last 2 minutes, to be like sequel fodder. And it's like, no, like for all that I liked the character that they created, I would have loved if he had died in the last 2 minutes. Like if they had, brought you through this whole, like he like kind of miraculously survives when everybody else dies. And if they had like led you to believe, oh my God, this guy's gonna live, maybe we'll have sequels, and then they kill him in the last 2 minutes, I would have like cheered. I would have been like, yes, thank you for having the balls to do that. That would have been awesome. That's like but that really is the only thing I would have changed about the movie. Like I think it was a really enjoyable, like Chad said, very claustrophobic, very atmospheric. So it's kind of great coming into spooky season because it does have this very spooky vibe. There's a lot of, it's an overall very dark film, obviously, like because one of the things that they changed from the book. So in the book, Dracula, for those of you who aren't familiar, he can go out during the day. The invention of the vampire not being able to go out during the day is a modern invention that started with Hollywood films. So it's not part of ancient myth about vampires, and it's not a part of Bram Stoker's Dracula. And they went with that. So most of the vampire stuff is really dark, but it kind of goes with the spooky vibe. So yeah. So I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed it. It's a monster movie in a very claustrophobic environment. I mean, and that's all it is. It's a monster movie. And I like that. I thought that was cool.
Very good. Very good. And JP liked it. However, he has some comments on it. They didn't do too much to get rid of him, even after people were dying and they knew there was someone on board. Very true.
I mean, they sent a search. They just tried to search, and like 2 more people died. Right? Like
Chad's having some tornado issues. Everyone sends some thoughts and prayers his way. Chad, by God, if I have to, I'll come and save you, dude. I'll lasso that tornado, no problemo.
Sending you all of our good juju, Chad.
Juju.
I mean, are you close enough to where you need to be taking cover? Should you be going to do that?
Oh shit!
Yikes! Yeah. So for me, at least, it was a great way to kick off spooky season. It was our first spooky season movie, and I felt it. It felt very spooky. So.
Oh, very cool! Very cool! Very cool.
Those are my thoughts, my opinion. If you want a good spooky movie, go see it. It's spooky.
Sweet. So I am going to start pulling up some stuff on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre here. So Eric, if you want to go ahead and call in, hopefully this is the last of the technical errors. I would like to apologize to everybody. We had a lot of motherfuckers in here excited for this stream, and they have all left because of the technical issues. Yeah, we dropped by more than half. And I don't know why. Like, I'm going to have to research it. I don't know
what happened.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an internet problem. I do assume that it was.
Yeah.
Or if it's something something with these USB docks I'm trying to use. I don't know, but my webcam wouldn't fire up, and this is set up through a totally different avenue right now. So I don't know. I don't know what that was, but I do apologize for everyone. To everyone who came in and they're used to a very slick, nice stream. I hope you like the countdown intro. That's something new I threw together today. I thought that was pretty snazzy, as it were.
It's so topical. So.
It is, and you're staticking again.
Well, you can get rid of me. I'm not supposed to be on
Okay.
anymore anyways, right?
Well, thank you for being with us, Anna. Thank you for your comments on the Demeter, and
Bye, everybody.
if you hear a loud bang, it's... Oh my god. Yeah, if you hear a loud fucking bang, it's me down here karate chopping these cameras and lights in half. Okay. So now we have everything Horror Collector. We're going to be bringing him on. And we are going to go over the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. What's up, EHC? Look at him with the big TCM shirt on, baby.
What's going on? Yeah, I had to look at the shirt. I figured if I was coming on, I might as well wear the shirt.
Hell yeah, dude. Shit, man. So I can barely hear you. You have any idea where your mic placement is?
Other than this is all I got.
Oh, shit. No way to get it up closer to your mouth or anything? Or
no, I don't know. I'll tell you what, give me 1 second and let me grab another pair.
All right, man. I'll be here.
All right.
So, see, damn it, I don't feel as bad because the technical difficulties continue even with EHC. And even if they didn't, I'd probably make something up just to make me feel better, damn it. Just to make me feel better. So, yeah, I don't know what happened with the technical difficulties at all. I'm going to be researching that after this stream. That's going to annoy the hell out of me until I figure it out. Because I was really excited for this stream. I wanted this to look really nice and everything to go smoothly, as I do with all my streams. I'm sort of a perfectionist there, but Dragon Blue's popping back in the chat for us. I'll fix EHC's mic there for him just for a second while he switches up. Holy shit, JK says his Talk Horror t-shirt that he ordered at the beginning of February arrived today. So let me tell you something, JK. What happened with Teespring? There is a story behind this. So, okay, it looks like EHC is back. Let's get him on here, and then I'll tell the story because it involves him.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that sounds a little bit better.
But it's not even working through. I don't know what's going on here.
I think so. What's everybody else think? Can you hear him better? But
okay. I can't get the headphones to work for some reason.
It sounds louder to me now.
Okay, I didn't know if it was going to echo or backfeed. All right.
Oh, no. It's working, man. Hell yeah. Dude,
the whole week's been like this, so.
Mercury's in fucking retrograde, dude. Like, this is some real Texas Chainsaw shit right now, man. But, dude, so JK, to give you the story of what happened, man, I actually purchased everything Horror Collector here, a Talk Horror t-shirt. And had it shipped to him, and it was through Teespring, my old merch vendor. And that was in February. He never got it, ever. And I contacted Teespring and told them about this, and they said, oh, we're going to look into it, we're going to figure this out. Never heard anything back. I looked at the progress of the t-shirt I ordered, because it gives you, like, order placed, currently printing, preparing for shipment, shipped, delivered, all that shit. All it had checked on it was order placed. And essentially, what I found out what happened was Teespring was bought by another company in January. And they laid off like almost all of their staff. They defaulted on payments they owed to other companies that supplied them with materials and stuff. And they just cut costs and upped their revenue out the ass. So, yeah, I ended up just canceling the order. I was like, you guys, fuck you, you know.
You just didn't want to give me a shirt. That's what it was.
Yeah, I was like, man, this everything horror collector guy's really pissing me off with.
He made up this whole story about this company.
Yes. But I'll tell you what, man. These technical difficulties aren't going to keep us down, dude. Let's check out this poll I put up yesterday, man, on which is the best, or which is the worst, Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Which is the worst in the franchise? And I'll be damned. This poll, as you can see, it was voted that The Next Generation is the worst of the worst.
I wouldn't say it's the worst, but it's the weirdest.
Dude, I'm going to say it surprised me, man. I mean, it's bad, but shit. Leatherface is in second place, but Next Generation is number one by a large margin, according to the Horror Fam. We had 149 votes. And honestly, we'll see, because I'm going to rank the franchise here in a minute. I'm going to surprise some people by looking at this, man. What about you, EHC? Where would you be on this? Do you think your picks are going to be different?
Yeah, I would have to switch 3 and Leatherface there. I would have to switch them. But I do think that, when Matthew McConaughey and all that or whatever, it could have been its own entity. It could have just been its own separate movie, and I think everybody would have liked it. But trying to make it a Texas Chainsaw it didn't live up to expectations.
Yeah. My God, man. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, dude. We're going to get into it, and here's how this is going to work. So here is I don't know why the fuck they did this, because I didn't put this up there. So the list defaults to the remake being an F. I don't like that.
Yeah, do not do that.
No, so I'm going to order these up by order of release. So put these up here, put Leatherface there, because he's a butthole. And we're going to put the new Netflix Texas Chainsaw there. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to rank these. We go from S, which is the absolute best, down to F. And I'm going to rank them, and everything Horror Collector is going to talk the shit with me and see if he agrees with my rankings, where he'd put them. We're just going to argue our asses off and see what goes on here. But Dragon here says EHC is barely audible.
It must be this headset.
Is everyone else having problems hearing EHC? I mean, yeah, you sound low. I tried to turn you up manually.
We might just have to. Let me just cut it off. Let's do away with it.
Okay, yeah,
let's just do it that way. There we go. I was trying. I didn't know if it was okay. A lot better.
Lot better.
Okay.
Okay, man. So here we'll go ahead and start with the original. And oh God, I'm gonna piss people off right away. I can tell that shit. So the original, let's drag that shit on up to an A. Not the best, but so the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre to me, man, it's good. It's a good movie. It's scary. It was probably, so it's way before my time, but I imagine it would have been far more effective had it not been, because could you imagine in the 70s when you're watching that shit for the first time, you have the whole viral marketing thing, because people then thought that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a true story.
Yeah,
And I
could
think
see where that would throw everybody just in a panic back then,
Dude, and I think a lot of people still think that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on a true story, or at least a certain margin of people, man, that, because I remember hearing stories from people, man, my uncle said that they knew who the real Leatherface was, or I'm sure you've heard the same.
Oh, yes. It's kind of like the Blair Witch. People around here still think that's true. Like, they never found those college kids.
Some bitches out there making their damn movie and disappeared, but and as far as the film goes, they had Daniel Pearl as the cinematographer, and on such an independent production, man, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's clearly budget limitations, but man, their cinematography did not suffer. Like, I thought there were some beautiful shots in that movie of the Texas landscape. But it's also shot in a way that's like a gritty, grainy movie. It's almost like something that you shouldn't even be watching. Like, it's almost like one of those damn real life death videos or something, man.
the faces of death.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, so
with the driveway scene and then the very last scene that they call it are my two favorite scenes. Yeah, when he's chasing her down the driveway, that's just awesome picture.
Yeah, when he's chasing her, and then at the end, as he does his little leather dance there.
That's right.
That's it's a good ass movie. It's I wouldn't put it as an S rank though. Like, I do have some issues with it. You can't be too nitpicky, and I could also see where new audiences wouldn't even like it.
Well, and there's no gore in it. So, I mean, that, back then it was still horrible, but today a 10-year-old could watch it, because there's just no gore in it.
Yeah, it was the marketing that did very well for the film, and the name, which is hell part of the marketing. I think if the movie had went by its original title, Head Cheese, I don't think people would still be talking about it today.
No.
But yeah, man, I think I think people would find themselves being bored. I remember hearing that from some younger people one time, that they were bored by, and I can see that. I can, like you said, man, there's not much blood, and there's not a whole lot of action. I remember hearing some young girl describe it as like a woman running through a cornfield screaming for an hour.
And it does have a very slow build.
It does.
Yeah, everything's very slow at first. They're exploring the house and riding in the van and all, and then once they find the house and go inside, then it kicks off. But
yeah, and to me, man, and another reason I would even, now that I'm thinking about this, now that I'm reflecting on the film, I would even go as far as to move it down to a B. I'll leave it at an A, but I could see giving it a B because Franklin irritated the shit out of me, dog. Like,
oh, they wrote that perfectly. They wrote him to do exactly that, and he hit it right on the head.
No shit. Did he annoy the hell out of you too?
Oh, absolutely. I fast forward through it. And him chewing on that sausage. Oh, God.
All right, man. So let's see here. JK says, I think the original TCM was the best one, but I wouldn't put any of them above A tier, to be honest. Well, let me ask you, JK, would you put the original at A tier? You say it's the best one. Would you go that high on it? Chad Edmonds says, I have to go downstairs now. I got to go. Steven, I'll message you later on Facebook. Hey, best wishes, brother. I hope all works out well for you, man. Stay safe. If I have to, I'll become a Chad Wrangler. I don't care, man. Jonas, dude. Jonas is with us, bro. He's like, oh my God, Franklin. He annoyed the hell out of the whole damn cast. No doubt, dude. Paul Parton nailed that role. I think he did what he set out to do, like everything Horror Collector says. But shit, it is hard to get through, man. But I'll tell you what, too, man. Another cool thing about the original TCM, and then I'll move on. But to me, the original, man, really captured how fucking hot Texas is.
And they didn't get to wash those clothes, and they had to wear those same clothes, and they had actual armadillos. I think production designer or maybe assistant director went and found one on the side of the road and learned how to taxidermist itself, and it didn't do real good, and it was stinking, and it had to be a horrible experience.
Yeah, they used real animal carcasses and everything, like you said, the armadillo, man. And then when they were done with him, they created a burn pile out back, and that was the absolute worst idea.
Yes, I've been trying to actually find someone to stuff an armadillo because we have so many of them around here, and I wanted to stuff one upside down, just like in all the movies, to put on my display, but I haven't found anybody to do it yet.
Oh my God, dude! No doubt, dude. That would woof. Dude, Jonah says 120 heat index here in Texas today. My God.
I think it was like 105 index here today, and I don't want it any hotter than that.
Hell no. Hell no. Man, I feel bad for y'all. Yeah, JK saying Franklin was annoying, but yeah, he had put it at an A. And V, welcome to the stream, says you can literally sense the heat. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think they did a great job of just picking up how miserable that type of heat is, especially when you're in a car with no air conditioning. Who remembers when that shit was a luxury? Cars had
my first vehicle didn't have AC, and I remember it very well.
Hell yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, and Dragon Blues called me out, and Steven thought the 74 here today was hot. Hell yeah, it is. California has a different kind of sun, man. When that California sun comes, I don't know if that shit's closer to the earth, what it is. It has those super rays, dog. Like, that shit ain't playing.
Okay, you're used to that mountain air.
Yeah, I'm used to that Mountain Dew, you know what I'm saying? Hell yeah. All right, EAC, we're about to hit a tough one here, man. We're going to move on to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and now this one's tough because, number one, how the hell do you create a sequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Like, what in the hell could you possibly do there? Now, Tobe Hooper did come back. The original director did come back for the sequel. They probably felt like they needed a sequel because they did get ripped off monetarily from the original production company. It was ran by the mob. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they have no idea how much that movie made, really, because it was mob controlled. So they didn't get shit. So they didn't profit on it. So you kind of need a sequel, probably because, the first one was so successful, banned in over 70 countries and all that shit, and everybody and their mom has seen it. But also, they didn't make any damn money. So you can't blame them for moving on to the sequel route, but it seems like, man, they didn't know what in the hell to do. So what they did was they went in like a totally opposite direction of the original, at least I think.
Yeah, that's the thing for me is everything's the same except for the seriousness of it. It's so silly, and I like it, but it's just drastically different. It's very silly and kind of dark comedy, and that's what threw me for a loop.
And I feel like, man, I feel like I'm gonna be saying this like a lot with this franchise is that like I could see where some people might like this movie, and I could see where they would absolutely despise it. Like I feel like, I showed Texas Chainsaw 2 to Anna, and she just couldn't stand it. And I can see her point, especially, because I'll tell you what, man. With every rewatch of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, now I like it, but it annoys me more and more each time. Each time I watch it, it's like it goes down just a scotch for me. And, Dragon Blues here says it. She says, Chop Top annoys me at least as much as Franklin.
Or more.
Yeah, and Chop Top, brother, he gets harder and harder to take with each rewatch for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, I do like, there's some things that are cool about him, man. The damn, the clothes hanger to the scalp and eating his, that's creepy and crazy. And I love LG just spitting tobacco and shit all over the place. And
I tell you what, I hate
darling.
the most. I hate when they got Leatherface like dry humping with the chainsaw. I hate that. I just despise that.
Oh God, I can't wait till we get to the next generation and hear your thoughts on that shit then. But man, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move Texas Chainsaw 2 up to a C for me.
That's what I would agree.
Yeah, I think I would love to know, show of hands, who would agree putting Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 at a C right now. There's something, like I said, I know there's a lot of people out there who really like it. I like it, but like I said, each rewatch, man, just it gets a little bit harder every time. Dragon Blue saying, wow, way higher than I would put it. I want to know, DB, where would you rank it? On our list from S to F.
I don't even think I have a copy of it besides the VHS tape that I have autographed. Other than that, I think that's the only copy of it I have.
Wow. Damn. Oh, DB is saying she would go with an E, but JK is saying Chop Top kind of freaked him out. I think he was just a mentally ill psychopath. I agree, man. Chop Top to me, I don't know about you, man. One good scene is at the end, and it like takes Chop Top's annoyance to another level, but it shows how much being in that situation would suck. And it's when he's chasing Stretch up those stairs and he's just talking shit the whole time, will not shut the fuck up, and he's slicing her legs with the straight rands. Like, oh my God, that would be horrible, dog. Like I wouldn't even run. I'd have to turn around, bear hug his ass like Roy Nelson.
But I tell you, Bill Moseley killed that role, hands down.
Hey, I'm telling you folks now, Bill Moseley is a legitimate psychopath. Bill Moseley is out there, brother. If you haven't watched any interviews with him, if you're not very familiar with him, hell, just listen to his band Cornbugs. That dude is into some weird shit, man.
Yeah, and he brings it into the roles. I mean, especially on all the Rob Zombie stuff, every different character he played is just a weird, wacky person, and he does great.
Yeah. And dude, here, JK is saying he would put it between a B and a C. So he's in league with us. Justin is saying it would be a D for him. So he's even going lower. But I'm glad me and old EHC here, we're not doing too bad. We're kind of on the same page here. Let's see if we stick with that. Now, moving on to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, which goes by Leatherface, which becomes a little bit more confusing as the series goes on. But I'm going to say, man, to me, and I don't know if you'll agree with this, EHC, to me, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 Leatherface is the most straightforward slasher out of all of them. Like when you think of 80s slashers, this is the most straightforward one. It is a straight up slasher movie.
Yeah, and I know some people, their favorite one is number 3. Like that's their all-time favorite. The only thing that drags me in is the Saw. The Saw drags me in. I love it.
Dude, the Saw is family. That is the one where we get that badass, huge chainsaw. And you get a young Viggo Mortensen in there, which, you know, his acting is great. It's phenomenal. They made some weird choices with that one. This one kind of like goes off the rails in terms of continuity and stuff like that, you know, because they've kind of killed everybody else. So it's almost like you get a new family and the only returning semblance of continuity is Leatherface himself. He's like, but it's in like the same kind of situation. Like there's a new grandpa. Now there's a grandma. Like,
I hate that they change Leatherface's name in every movie. He's Bubba. He's what's the other
Thomas. Then he's Jed.
Jedediah. Yep. So every time is something different, you know, and that's what blows my mind. Like at least name them the same thing, so it's the same person.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you what, dude. I'm gonna go ahead and rank Leatherface, and which has one of the most notoriously bad trailers I've ever seen, by the way.
Have you ever watched the making of documentary?
Oh, of Leatherface?
Yep. It is actually really good. It's really long. You can watch it on YouTube. They go from beginning to end, how they done everything, all the stunts and all, and that's really.
Yeah. Damn, I'll have to check that out, dog. But right there, EHC, I'm dropping it at a B, man.
I would say a C, and the only reason it's truly that high for me is of course it's got Leatherface and the chainsaw, but the story is very weird and crazy, and you know,
God, it is.
I didn't like the mask. I will have to say I didn't like the mask, but I would probably say a C for me.
I'll say, man, I could definitely see a C. It would be between a B and a C for me. And if you asked me to do this same ranking again tomorrow, my selections might change. You know, you know, that's just how it is with this kind of thing. Let's see some comments here real quick, man. V says TCM 2003 is the most iconic to me. The acting, the feeling, so freaking real. V, stick around until I rate that one, my friend. I think I'm going to need you to get my back. I'm going to have a lot of work to do on that because I know that one gets shit on a lot. But I think you might be in league with me. Now, Jonas here says, I actually don't mind 3. Had a pimp ass saw in it. Jonas, I want to know where you would have put it, brother.
Jonas always dies first.
Well, Codename Kid totally agrees with you about the naming of Leatherface. He doesn't like how they change his name with seemingly every entry. JK agrees with me. He says, Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 is a B to me. I think it was great, and I think Wrong Turn 3 took some inspiration from it. I can see that now, JK. That's a fair comparison, man. Justin Clark saying it's a solid B for me as well. Necro coming into the stream. What is going on, Necro? How are you doing out there, man? Getting back from football, huh? Hell yeah. Now, here we go. JP has a special request for you, EHC. He wants to see your left hand. Oh, shit, son.
And then this one has Hannibal on it. You can't see for the bracelets, but.
Oh, fuck. All right, EHC. Now the left hand looks like those, reminds me of those mechanics gloves.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looks like, don't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I had some of those for my dirt bike. That's the gloves I do have currently for my dirt bike. They're like red, but have the skeletal handsies on them. But
Yeah, I
I
got
got
some from Grease Monkey, I think's the brand of them, and they have the skeleton hand on them.
So I'm going to ask you a question though, man, and this is getting a little bit personal. You can tell me to fuck off. Well, I got to know, man, what does your wife think of as particularly the Hannibal Lecter tattoo on the hand? Because I'm telling you now, Anna would probably kick my ass.
Actually, one of the first horror tattoos I got, and the first hand tattoo, and she went with me to get it, and she don't mind it. I don't think she really cared for the whole skeleton hand, but the same night I got them to put the heart and Jamie's name there the same night. That way I could counterbalance the reaction.
That's a man that thinks ahead, folks. You see what he did there, huh? He's like, I'm gonna put Hannibal Lecter on my hand.
But she's always been good. She says nothing above the t-shirt neck, nothing above. She said other than that, no gold teeth and no face tattoos.
Yeah, I think Anna would freak out because there's certain things still that even, because she's not as big of a horror fan as me, so there's still certain things that even I do that like weird her out. Like the other day I have this rad ass Pet Cemetery shirt and it has Pascal on the front with his damn brain exposed and falling out of his head, and like, she just happened to like, because she's like chest tight on me, so we're hugging or whatever, and she just happened to like look at that and was like, ah.
Well, my wife is not a horror fan. I mean, probably a 1 out of 10 kind of horror fan. But she does love Hannibal, all the Hannibal movies, the Hannibal series. So that is probably the only character that she truly likes is horror.
Damn, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, man, we have hit a level in this franchise, dude, that I don't think people are prepared for. This is Texas Chainsaw, the next generation. And to me, EHC, the next generation has kind of, before I rank this, I want to know what everybody in the chat would rate it. Now, this was voted the worst entry in the franchise in our poll here by a large margin.
Did you know that Matthew McConaughey, acted in that movie? And then while it was in post-production, he had got all these big movie roles, and his they wanted them to not release the movie because they were so embarrassed by it. And he's like, "This is you, so we don't need to release it because now you're doing these big movies." And they released it anyway.
Yeah, dude, he blew up, and Renee Zellweger was also. So this was Texas Chainsaw: The Next Generation was Renee Zellweger's and Matthew McConaughey's first movies. Like they were both new on the scene, and I'm telling you now, Matthew McConaughey and his performance in this movie is phenomenal. He is on very clearly on a different level from absolutely everyone else, period. Like this movie, you watch it and you're like, holy shit, that is a psychopath. He is by far the scariest thing about this movie. It ain't leather, I assure you.
And in our house, her name's not Renee Zellweger. Her name's Bridget Jones at our house.
Oh my God.
I bet we have watched Bridget Jones 100 times. Yeah, my wife loves it.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's hilarious. I can't think of not Pierce Brosnan, but maybe it is. I can't think of his name, but he's an English actor. He's good in it. I can't think of the other guy's name either. They're really big name actors, but they are jam
like
up.
Hugh Grant or something.
Yep, Hugh Grant's one of them. Yep, and I can't think of the other guy, but there's really a good movie. I mean, other than horror, it's really goofy and funny, and she is so silly in it, and so innocent acting, but still so stupid acting all at the same time. It is hilarious,
dude. You know what? I thought she was really innocent and pretty cool in the Next Generation as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to now. This is probably going to surprise some people. This movie deserves an F. It does. It deserves an F. If I was rating this shit for everybody else on the planet, like you are going to hate this movie, it's an F. Blah blah blah. Absolutely, but I get enjoyment out of it, I think, because it is so bad. And I've watched it with so many people that it's turned into like we make fun of it, we joke about it. And Matthew McConaughey's performance and Renee Zellweger, I mean, you won't forget Matthew McConaughey's performance after watching this movie. So it does stay with you. So it can't be a downright shit burn of a movie. So, dude, I'll go ahead and put it at an E for right now. And I'm going to tell you why. In addition to what I just discussed, I'm putting it at an E, and that is because I think there is worse in the franchise than the Next Generation.
I totally agree. If somebody forced me to compare them all, I would say Texas Chainsaw 2 and the Next Generation are pretty neck and neck.
Shit, there we go. Damn. And look here, man, we're all over the place.
Oh, but the Next Generation is bad. I mean, it is definitely bad. And 2 is, if you're looking at it for a Leatherface movie, it's bad. But it's kind of got that comedy part. And the Next Generation has some silly stuff in it too. But it's all over the place, from the CIA to all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'm not going to say to move it up to 2. They're neck and neck.
Yeah, Chad is commenting on this. He says he would give it an A, which is holy crap. But he says for the Illuminati plot. And that is, this movie, The Next Generation, is absolutely all over the damn place. I mean, you get a Leatherface character, and in this one, they take the, what would you call it, the cross-dressing, whatever, to a whole other level. Like
Yeah, it looked so, they took it so far, it was silly looking.
I mean, in this one, like you can tell by the cover of the movie, I mean, they take it to an entirely other level. They bring back almost like a hitchhiker-like character that's constantly throwing out stupid quotes while he cattle prods people. They bring back a grandpa. They have a woman that's involved. You have Matthew McConaughey, who plays Vilmer, which is just insane. Crazy ass movie all over the place. You have terrible acting on behalf of some of the lesser known casts. Like you have, I mean, for instance, just to give, I don't even know how the hell I would explain that shit to people. I mean,
no, it is very, very strange. From one end to the other, it's strange.
Then you get this Illuminati dude who comes in, who's like the big bad, and he has like weird scars and piercings and shit on his titties, and
that's the CIA for you.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck is going on here, dog? Like, he takes off a suit and there's just like crop circles on his titties and barbells, and I don't know, man. It's a weird one, folks. If I know Dragon Blues hasn't seen it yet, but I mean, dude, and we're all over the place. You know, JK says maybe an E. Justin Clark says an F. Chad says an A. But I mean, Jesus, dude, this movie, it's whew. Oh, Codename Kid almost spit his water on that shit. I'm telling you, dog, that one's weird, but hey, we're gonna get into a good one. And here's probably where I get booed off the fucking stream, and I'm going to be interested to see if everything Horror Collector agrees with me here. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, which came out in 2003. And I'm just going to do this right now. It is going S tier for me. That, to me, EHC, is as good as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise gets.
Absolutely.
It took the character of Leatherface, which was created back in the 70s, gave him a whole new story, updated it, and made him scary for a totally new generation. You had brilliant actors in it. I mean, hell, you had Arlie Ermy, Jessica Biel.
Sheriff Hoyt literally makes it.
Yes. Yeah, Sheriff Hoyt, Arlie Ermy as Sheriff Hoyt is just pure gold. The family's great, because they don't get too involved in what in the hell's going on, really. I mean, Sheriff Hoyt and Leatherface are kind of the ones who propel it forward as far as the bad guys go. But man, it's just, I will never forget, and I am so happy that I'm seeing people agree with me here in chat, because this pick right here, among like big time horror fans, would get me booed off stream. But I'm telling you, man, when I watch this movie, and in the first 10 minutes, they start with that crime scene footage, the guys going into the basement, they're explaining what in the hell went on. They make it look like it's real. It's back to the feeling that this actually happened. And then you get the hitchhiker who blows her fucking brains out in the first 10 minutes of the movie. I was floored.
I tell you what, the documentary of the making of that movie, amazing. It does show how they got all those shots and all the behind the scenes. Absolutely amazing. Yes. And I also have to say that Uncle Monty, a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I love Uncle Monty. Yeah. But dude, I don't know about you, and I want to see a raise of hands in the chat. This movie it fucking floored me, and then I was glued to the seat for the entire thing, man.
I would say that if you never knew Texas Chainsaw 74, that it's the same exact movie, just with modern cameras, modern effects, and all. What the other one would have been if it never existed, kind of thing. That it's just the modern 1974.
Yeah, the remake is just balls to the wall without being silly. The acting, like I said, is absolutely superb. Jonathan Tucker, when they're in the van and Arlie Ermy is having him reenact how the girl shot herself in the van, and he's holding the pistol in his hand, he's shaking and actually vomits. Pure gold. Erica Learson, Lauren German, Jessica Biel.
Well, he is an awesome actor, and he was in Justified as a bad guy in the last season or two, and he was amazing in it. And it was kind of that same kid, and it was so good.
Dude, Eric Balfour, Mike Vogel. Oh my God, dude. And Andrew Briniarski as Leatherface was just built for that. That dude is massive, without being silly.
Super nice.
Oh, is he?
Oh yeah, I've met him twice. Very friendly, cutting the fool, telling jokes, and then we got ready to walk away, and he was still just talking and telling jokes. Yeah, really nice guy.
Damn. And look here, man, we got support in the chat. Justin Clark is saying 2003 is an easy A for him. Chad is saying the remake deserves an F because he can't stand Jessica Biel, but if it wasn't for her, he would give it an A.
Chad, you're fired.
You're fired, Chad. Trav Zimmerman says remake was fan-fucking-tastic. Dragon Blue says agreed. Love the remake. V says TCM 2003 is the most iconic. Jonah says the remake is actually scary. Um, you know,
Oh
Justin
three
Clark
is
says,
is brutal. It's just pure brutal.
yeah. Um, yeah. TCM 2003. It's brutal without being over the top brutal. You know what I'm saying? Like there's been some horror movies out there that are just that's their shtick. That's the whole reason they exist is just to be as brutal as possible. TCM 03 had consequences. There was a point to its brutality. Leatherface lives up to his name in the remake.
Yes.
And now here's where things get a little bit different. This is where we go to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, which is the prequel to the remake. And I am going to go ahead and take this up to an A rank for me. Damn, so EHC is saying he would put it up there with the remake. He'd put it at an S.
I think they're just, as far as the writing, the acting, every part of it, and I love the storyline. I think it's just as good as those three, hands down.
Damn.
It's hard for me to. I can't choose between the two. I love them both the same.
Damn, that's wild. Now, I mean, you can see I'm very close with you there, man. I'm putting it at an A. I don't think it was as quite as effective. And maybe that's because the remake is just so hard to live up to for me. Like the remake just floored me, and so I didn't get to feel that again with the beginning. But I really liked it. I thought once again some good acting, a good story. You've got
I like
Arlie
the
Army back.
transformation. I love to watch the transformation of Sheriff Hoyt from just a little small town guy to, golly, I killed the whole sheriff's department, and and then he transforms into him and all, and I love that part of it too.
Yeah, well, and also it has your boy Lou Temple in it.
Yes.
Playing the entire sheriff's department of one man.
Yeah, he is on my list of autographs that I have not got yet to finish off all my Rob Zombie autograph stuff. So him and two more I like, and I'll have them all.
But here, Dragon Blues Wesley says, I'm with you, Steven. It's just not quite there, but so close. Dude, it's just not quite there for me up there with the remake. I think that one stands alone. It's clearly the best, but they did some highly effective, highly just gross stuff, man. Like when Arlie Ermy has Diora Baird up in the bedroom and he's knocked all of her teeth out for clear reasons. And
I tell you, that's the one thing in that movie that I didn't like, is that kind of, it made you think that it was a rape scene, and I didn't really care for that. I could, if that was out of the movie, it would have still been amazing. I didn't think we truly, it makes you just cover your eyes and just not want to watch,
Yeah, it's rough, man. But it also, this one, one thing I'll say that's kind of cool about this one is it does expand on the thing, like, what would you do if you were, captured by that family, and what are some of the things that like a day in that life would look like? Like, it gives you a more hardcore look at that, I think.
Yeah, I would tell them that I have all kinds of special skills that I could help y'all out. I'll hunt them down if you need me to. I'm willing to join the cult.
Yeah, we'd be making shit up. Like, look, y'all, I'll tell you what, man, these humans y'all are cooking, they could use a little bit of salt. I'm actually a chef.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd make all kinds of shit up. Well, I'd start hitting on Arlie Ermy's mom and everything. Like, look, babe, you're fucking hot. That apron is sexy.
I never could figure out until this moment right now if that was his sister and they were Monty and Hoyt and her were sisters, or if that was his mama.
I can't remember. It may have been his sister. No. It was his mom.
Now I
think so.
love
It was
the bigger lady that lived in the camper,
yeah.
and then in the
Oh,
second one she gets shoved against the table and all that, or that might have been in the first one, but that was hilarious. The way she was screaming and hollering was too
yeah.
funny.
The tea lady.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But oh my God, yeah, because I remember when they pull in, and they're like, "Where the fuck have you taken us?" Blah blah blah, and he says, "We're at Mama's house." So
Yeah.
I assume, but maybe not. I mean, hell, who knows? Wait, I think he does after she prepares his britches for him or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he says, like, "Thank you, Mama," or something like that. I think. So I do think that is his mom.
Yeah, he called her mom a couple of times, and I didn't know if that was just because she was the mama of the house or truly his mom. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah. I don't know. The age range definitely doesn't seem there, but
yeah, that was my well, they kind of look very similar in age.
yeah. But dude, JK's with us. He's like, I'd put the original remake at an A and this one at a B. Now that's he's a couple steps down, but
that seems pretty fair though. I mean,
Chad's going with a B on it. Dragon Blues agrees with you. She did not. She could have done without that scene in the bedroom there. Justin Clark's going B. I am LMNOP. Welcome to the stream, Brother Jack Dude. Glad to have you here, man. God, yeah. It's a great one, man. But now we're starting to get into a little bit of territory here where it clearly starts, for me, it starts going down a little bit. Now, I'm not going to go duty on your movie totally here, man. So I'm in a situation here. We have Texas Chainsaw 3D next. Now, this one got crapped on a lot. Now, I know EHC is a big fan. This one got crapped on a lot, and it was... So as far as I'm aware, this was the first, before we rank it, this was the first horror film to do the whole direct sequel thing to the original. Because this movie is a direct sequel to the 1974 film. And not only that, but they even shot some additional footage as if it was 1974 again. Before they spring us forward into current time, which is nice. A lot of films who do the direct sequel thing, they don't really bother with that shit.
Yeah, and the new Texas Chainsaw, the jumping forward is kind of wacky.
Yeah. So Texas Chainsaw 3D to me, man, it got crapped on a little bit, but honestly, I thought it was fun. I thought, it was cool to see, a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film in 3D, number one, but I also thought it was just a fun body count movie. It was, it wasn't necessary. Absolutely not. But hell, none of these are, except for the original, really.
Do you?
Yeah, do your thing, cuz.
My wife despises that. She actually, like I said, she's not a horror fan, but she actually liked Texas Chainsaw 3D. But when she says that, she says it's so cheesy it makes her hate the whole movie.
Yeah, do your thing, cuz. I mean, yeah, it's...
Oh, that's the shirt I should have wore tonight. I forgot to do your thing, cuz, with the chainsaw. I should have wore that one.
Oh, shit. Dude, you know what, man? I could adjust some rankings here, honestly. Just because, but
it's definitely better than Texas Chainsaw 2.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm having a problem with. So it's like I could drop 2, or even Leatherface, because hell, I might.
It's better than Leatherface, for sure, in my opinion.
but it was fun to me. It's a fun movie. It's silly, totally unnecessary. But God, man, it was just. It's the thing is in this ranking. I'm looking at it and it's like. It's better than some of the other shit they've served us up. And it's like, I'm sitting here now looking at things and I'm like,
I think when
there's
that
things I could.
deputy goes down in the basement, that'll have you just sitting on the edge of the seat because you're just waiting for him to get grabbed at any moment.
Yeah, that
I
was,
love that.
when he's like looking through his smartphone and.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Very creepy and ineffective, but it's a fun movie. It's like a popcorn movie where these other ones were like took themselves more seriously. Like this is probably the only actual fun one of the franchise.
And you had Marilyn Burns in it.
You did have Marilyn Burns. They brought back Bill Moseley. Gunnar Hansen was in it.
I do love it where they show the whole story and how it happened and what went down. And the actual newspaper that she's reading in the police station that shows the picture of them holding up the leg, I actually had that exact newspaper on the wall signed by Andrew. Not Andrew, but Dan.
Dan Yeager, yeah. I actually have screen-used blood from Texas Chainsaw 3D in vials with certificates of authenticity.
I just bought the meat hook from where he grabs the boy that was stealing and pulls him up the stairs. I actually had that meat hook, and I got some of the bones.
No shit.
Hold on real quick. It's laying right here.
Oh my God, look, it's turned into show and tell, folks. He's got a badass horror prop he's about to show us.
I can't get it all in frame, but that's the one that they used, and it's got like rubber built into it.
Yeah.
And that's the actual one from the movie. Bones too that was that were on the set. I don't know if they were really in any scenes, but they were on the set.
Check
so
that
that's
shit out,
pretty
people.
cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I have to show off a little bit.
Yeah, hell yeah. If you got it, flaunt it, baby. That's what I say. But yeah, man, where would you put it on the, if this was your list, where would you put Texas Chainsaw 3D?
I would say that it's not as good as the beginning.
Yeah.
But I would rank it right there with the original 74. I like them equally. So it's hard for me to choose between A and B. It's kind of, I don't know. For me, I would have the beginning at the very top with 03, and then I would have 74 and then the 3D side by side. And then everything else on the list I definitely agree on.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, this is tough, man. This is tough because now I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, man. I could have dropped some shit. But I'm going to tell you what. I have a feeling we're about to fill up these empty slots down here, man.
But, when you get into the good movies, and then it makes you the ones that you don't really like, it makes you want to move them, just keep on scrolling them down the list there.
Yeah, like, woof. Dude, well, hey, Max Knapp, welcome to the stream, brother, man. Hell yeah, lunch break, bro. Freaking A, man. Dude, we're almost done ranking the series here, and now I'm looking at my rankings, and I'm like, ooh, I could have maybe dropped some things. I'm not sure. I'm gonna leave it as it is.
I think it's pretty fair. Right there where you got it.
It's pretty fair, but now we get down to the 2017 Leatherface, which was a prequel to the original 1974 film. And Dude, this has to be the most fucking useless entry in the franchise, if you ask me. Like, nobody wanted this shit. Like, I don't know about you, but I never gave a shit.
I don't need to know
really.
the story.
Yeah, and it doesn't even follow. Like when you hear people talking about possibly wanting a prequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or whatever, they talk more about like they wondered about Grandpa because they talk about in the original Grandpa was a one hitter. You don't even get that shit in Leatherface. Like this is not what this prequel is even about. It's more of like
and
the
then
origins of.
You think the heavy kid is Leatherface the whole entire time?
Yes. Yeah, so there's this, for those of you who haven't seen it, they have this really, really weird plot point as if the identity of who Leatherface is a mystery. And then they do a twist on you as to who it is, and it's like, fucking why? What was the purpose of that entire plot point, number one, and then having a twist?
I will say I didn't like the backstory on the whole thing. Now, Rob Zombie's Halloween, absolutely loved the backstory. It was good, told a story, it done it quick, explained a lot of stuff that needed. But on this one, you still don't really know anything more of why they do this, and it don't really answer a lot of questions.
They just introduced new shit that did not make a difference whatsoever. Like you said, it's like, well, Leatherface got taken from his family at a young age, and then he broke out and killed people.
But I do love the sheriff. I can't think of his name as an actor. He looks like the guy
Stephen Dorff.
Yeah, he looks like the guy from Lost Boys.
Oh, Kiefer Sutherland? Yeah.
Yeah, much alike. But he's a really good actor.
Yeah, Trav Zimmerman here agrees with us. He says, I started 2017 and quickly shut it off and went to sleep and haven't thought about it again until this very moment. That is exactly where this movie belongs.
You didn't miss nothing.
You didn't. There is nothing this brings to the table. Nobody wanted it. It wasn't necessary. Nobody needed it. And there's no payoff other than why. That's all I got from it. But Chad Edmonds says he loved Leatherface and he'd give it a B. I'm gonna tell you, I think Chad's fired everything. I agree with you.
I was about to say, I thought we already fired him.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you now, Leatherface to me is the worst of the franchise because there is nothing redeemable about this movie at all.
Well, I can tell you something that compares to it a lot. On the Hannibal series of movies, there's one called Hannibal Rising, which is the prequel. And it's a very slow burn, the whole movie, but it goes back and tells the whole story of Hannibal worked out. And it kind of reminds me of that in a lot of ways, but it's actually fairly good. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. It was fairly good. But it is a lot like Leatherface.
Yeah. But JK says he would put it at an E. He didn't like it, but doesn't think it's the worst. And he says that Psycho Girl was vile. She totally was. And I will say, Lily Taylor did a good job, and Stephen Dorff did a good job. Those are seasoned actors, but we already know that they didn't bring anything special to the characters that they played.
And then when they got in there with the corpse, I was just,
Yeah, dude, this shit, Leatherface to me is the worst, and I think you agree with that, right, EHC? I mean,
oh, definitely. There can be nothing below it.
Yeah. Now, I mean, that's the bottom of the shit pile. So now we go on to Netflix's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, and this one. So, okay, man. So this one is a weird one. This is the newest entry in the franchise. I don't think anybody knew it was happening until it happened. And this movie is super weird. Just super weird. It's like, what is it, man? I mean, it's one of those that you can almost barely recall what it was even about, but I can try. So it's like these teenagers or whatever go to a town in Texas, and they're like artsy type. It's all, I can't remember what in the hell they were trying to do, but like
they were going to buy the town and turn it into like a rustic modern city.
Yeah, they were going to buy up properties in the town and all this shit, and you had weird themes in the movie. Like you had the typical redneck, and that's such a shitty stereotype. Like the redneck's going to love guns and support and blah blah blah, and then you get what would they be, like Gen Zers who are into social media and they hate guns and violence and and it has like, one thing I'll say about it as far as like the cast of the younger kids go, they are the most annoying looking people you could ever cast in a damn movie. Like they are actively hard to look at. Like they just look like they would be offended by everything and anything. And it looks like they'd have hairy armpits. Okay. We're just
honestly, it's almost a political movie. Like there's so much of it that's very political. There's a lot of that in there.
There is, but then there's also, it's like and you don't know exactly which way it leans. It's like they made a political movie, but then hell, you don't know exactly what the message even is. And hell, maybe that is the message, is that there is no perfect solution. Like both sides are right and both sides are wrong. I don't know. Dragon Blues here says, well, at least it did give them a legit reason for hating guns. That is true.
But she ended up needing it.
Yeah, she did end up needing it. So then you get that. But this movie, there's a lot of controversy around it too. Like some people came out and they praised it, like this, people who are clearly on the left side of things. Then you had people on the left side of things saying it was racist. It's a right-wing propaganda movie. It's a fucking weird. That's how weird this movie is.
Yeah. Like, you don't know how to take it.
I will say I did not dislike it as much as most people did. Like I thought it was like, it exists, it's okay.
It's better than Leatherface.
It's better than Leatherface. We can say that. You get some good kills in it. I thought the Sally Hardesty plot point, they bring Sally Hardesty back in this movie, and it's like, why in the fuck? And like in this one, she's like some badass Texas Ranger. And I'm telling you now, the girl we got in the original, she went to the loony bin after that shit. Like she was not.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you one thing. If they didn't steal that from Terminator 2, judge what they did.
Yeah. They clearly, like, there's nothing really original about this movie, but EHC, I think I'm going to give it a D.
I would have to agree. I think it's pretty close for TCM too. The graphics was fairly good. Leatherface done real good in it. I like some of the crazy kills, and I like a little bit of the story of how she, how she had him and this and that, and I like that. But the other actors were not good. I did not like them, and I felt like they tried to make it so modern, political stuff that they just tried to make it, and I think it was too much.
Yeah, I mean, there is nothing. I mean, did Leatherface need to be politicized at all? Like, does he look like a character that you need to politicize, or a story that, I mean, for God's sakes, it's called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, and I know that
he even killed a rapper in 2013.
Yeah, well, dude, and I know that some people, including like Toby Hooper, who created the original, like claims that it was, somewhat politicized, like a social commentary. But I don't really. It's a slasher movie. Like it's, I think people find that shit and latch on to it, but for some reason they really went hardcore with the politics in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it really does show. That, we're sitting here and both of us, I could bring Anna back on if she gives me the thumbs up and she wants to discuss it with us from a female perspective. But it's like, we don't know which side of the line that movie falls on politically. Like neither of us do. But it just shows how we are in our society now when a movie like that, people came out and I mean, it got labeled as racist.
And I don't know how that could be. There was nothing in it that had to do with race, or I would say the most craziest thing was the guns, the anti-gun, and that, to me, that was probably the craziest thing. Everything else that happened was pretty typical for a modern movie.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, you have both leftist and right-wingers, but just fighting over, and it's like, it just shows you, like, people can't exist in the middle. They just, I mean, that's a hard thing. It's weird, but it's like, if this movie is, in fact, right down the line, man, people wouldn't have that shit. They went nuts, man. It got shit on by both sides, and it's... there's so we'll bring Anna back, and hopefully her mic is not acting up now. What's up?
There we go. Is that working? Am I in?
That is working. You're in.
Okay. Mike okay?
Yeah, so Mike's okay. So what was your take on the movie? Do you agree that they interjected politics into the film and for no good reason? Or
it's interesting because I think at the beginning of the movie it felt like that's what they were doing, and then at the as the movie progressed, it really just kind of felt like what they were doing was taking like modern sentiment, like this is how this group of people feels about, and then this is how this group of people. I think the reason the movie pissed everybody off is because the movie itself doesn't take a stance, but it does say, like, if you get if we just were to randomly pick a group of Gen Zers from a bigger city, these are the types of sentiments they might have. You know what I mean? And then we put them into a small town in Texas, and these are the sentiments these people might have. And if you throw them into a pot, right, some boiling is going to happen, right? And I think like that's kind of where that went. Because it's like by the end of the movie, neither of them are right? And that's kind of the whole point, right? The kid who's terrified of guns because she was in a school shooting now has to use a gun to survive, right? Like, and it's kind of like that's right, is neither, right? And then like they were wrong to be mad at the the redneck character and all of that kind of stuff, and it's just I think more
well, it's always redneck versus the city slicker. Almost every movie that's got a redneck has the city folks and the redneck tries to save them, and they hate him, and it's always that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think I think if anything, the movie just was maybe too typical than anything else. But I think I appreciated that by the end of the movie, you really got that they're saying neither side is wholly right. You know what I mean? They're both,
and that
because
and
I think they did. I think
they still managed to piss people off with that too. It's like
they did. They still totally managed to piss everybody off.
Yeah, they didn't get either side. Like, they fucked up. They should have at least captured 50% of the market.
Yeah. Well, the sad thing is like, I think it never does, right? Even if they do swing to one side, it never actually captures 50% of the market.
Yeah.
So, so anyways,
and
I'll tell you my opinion on. I'll tell you my opinion on all these horror remakes and all that, and people hate them and they don't like them and this and that. Even if it's absolutely horrible, I'm still glad they made it. And I feel that way about the Freddy, the Jasons, the Michael Myers. Even though it might be a horrible movie, it's nice to have another Leatherface or a Jason movie.
Yeah, you do have the options, man. I mean, and I'm going to tell you, EHC, we got a lot of bad coming up, and I hate to say it, because when we saw The Last Voyage of the Demeter, they showed nothing but horror trailers, and nothing stuck out at all.
No. And
I think we should do Halloween next.
Oh, rank the Halloween franchise?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Oh, God, that would be a task. I already know what would be absolutely an F.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know what would be at the top of the list.
Oh, hell
For
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I think I would surprise some people on a Halloween ranking, but
yeah, but that's what would make it fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so folks, we're going to start wrapping it up. We've actually almost been streaming for 2 hours, which is wild to think about. So if there's any last-minute questions or comments, we'll go ahead and take them. But this is my ranking so far. And like I said, I could sit here and nitpick it. I could drop possibly Leatherface down, or
you could
possibly
drop two down.
Yeah, I could possibly, like I said, there's some that I can promise you Leatherface lives at an F. I can promise you the remake lives at an S. But, and the original's probably going to live at an A forever for me. But the rest of these, they could be moved around probably.
I think the thing about 74 that I have to appreciate is that it was done in 74 in the heat with hardly no budget by all new actors. Some of them weren't even actors. And I think you have to appreciate that no matter how bad the movie is, you have to appreciate everything that went into it. They were paying people with pot and paid. So I think that's the part that makes me appreciate it.
Yeah, well,
I always struggled. Oh, I was gonna say, I always struggle to rank remakes or anything above their original film, because the remake wouldn't exist without the original film. Like, somebody, it's like that was an original idea.
Yeah.
Like, they had an actual original thought and made a movie, and now you've just taken their original thought and made it look pretty.
Well, that's what's going on right now, and all of television is every TV show, every movie is just remaking it or adding on to it. There's no new ideas.
Yeah. And I appreciate the new idea a lot.
Where do you agree with putting the remake though at number 1?
It's hard not to, because it's so good. I love it so much. I think, for me, it's the originality of the ideas isn't so much the struggle as it's, Franklin is tough, and like you guys said, it's not quite as scary. It's not, and it really isn't as I'm with you, Stephen. Obviously, I wasn't around to watch it when it originally came out. So, when you're a teenager and watching it for the first time, and it's already 20 something years old, like it's not as scary as
Yeah.
I saw
that
the
was why
remake and it was so scary.
Yeah, it's I gotta give the remake top marks, and Leatherface is at the bottom of that shit pile, man. Like, I don't know where the series is going to go now. I think we definitely haven't seen the last of it, but it's weird. Because when they did Texas Chainsaw 3D, they planned on doing a legacy sequel, then they planned on doing a prequel, and then they planned on doing another sequel, and it's like that clearly didn't happen. We did get Leatherface, but they planned an original trilogy, and then they went to the Texas Chainsaw Netflix movie. It's like, I don't know exactly where they're going to take the series next, but probably another reboot, I would imagine. Who knows? They've this series is really all over the place, like thematically.
It is. And I tell you, talking about appreciating the old one, I got to meet Grandpa and Hitchhiker, and they were two of the coolest guys. They just talked and talked. You walked away and they were still talking and telling jokes. And when you see Grandpa, you look at him and you're like, how did you play Grandpa? Because he was so...
Yeah, he was a young man when, they did the first one. I believe that was John Dugan.
Yep.
And Edwin Neal as the hitchhiker, who did great, man. He was just out there and phenomenal job. But, I couldn't imagine dealing with the shit they put up with on that set, man. I just couldn't.
You couldn't do that nowadays, that's for sure.
Hell no.
We can't even get them to go to work right now. NCIS is going to be 6 months out before they get it done. And I'm like, all right, y'all need to sign an agreement or something and let's roll on because we're getting behind on the shows.
Yeah.
No
way. Netflix is hoping AI will just write their shows for them. Like, that's what's happening. It's just, I don't know if any of you guys have played with AI at all yet, but a lot of it doesn't make any sense. So it's not reliable enough yet. It's just not.
I've seen the AI South Park episodes, like some of the snippets from them. It's hard to tell in that short little bit, but I'd rather have somebody writing it.
Yeah.
Because AI can create anything. That's not fun. I want to hear somebody's story.
Yeah. Yeah, and all the small details and stuff like that. I don't think AI will be able to get that. I mean, they don't understand emotion, obviously. So,
yeah,
we need Stephen King just to start doing cocaine again and writing kick-ass stuff. Like, Stephen King, if you're out there, somebody get that man some coke. Yeah. He'll deliver.
Kind of like Hunter S. Thompson, I mean, some of them just have to be on it to get it going.
Yeah, they gotta be wired up, man.
Yikes.
But all right, my friends, I guess we're gonna sign off. Once again, I'm sorry about the damn technical difficulties tonight. I will figure that out for the next stream. I have no clue what happened, if it's an internet issue, what it is, but we certainly didn't have this problem last week.
Y'all were like hanging up a little bit, like for the last 10 minutes or so, kind of freezing up and hanging up every now and then. I don't know if it's mine or y'all's.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some research, figure that out. I don't know if you could tell, I was so damn pissed when I started the stream and shit was going haywire and.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Because it sucks when like 10 minutes to showtime, you're fucking, everything's working perfect, and then your camera's frozen and you're like, what? What? I set this shit.
Well, it's the same way at the house. It's like the internet works magic until you're trying to movie or watch a movie that you've rented for $25 and it's going, or the UFC pay-per-views are the worst. It's going to hang up every time, right at the main event.
God. Yeah, like you see Conor McGregor throw a punch and it freezes right before it connects, and you're just sitting there on the edge of the damn seat, like.
And then it comes back, and all of a sudden it skipped forward, and somebody's just laid out on the mat.
Oh God, I hate that shit.
It happens every time.
We're like,
Yikes.
oh my God.
It's the worst.
All right, hell, I reckon I'm gonna go get me something to eat, man. Thank you for being on here, EHC. Hell, we'll see.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we'll see about setting another one up with you on here, man. Maybe we'll do a Halloween one, and hell, I'll let you. Maybe we'll do one where you do the ranking, and then I have to argue your points. Like, well, that's bullshit.
There you go.
Yeah, I would love to do the Halloween one. That would be fun too, because there's so many of them and so many different takes on each one is so different, and I would love to do that.
Yeah, that one has so many offshoots, and so you could rank the different fucking timelines even.
Yes.
True.
Yeah, there's so much to go off of.
Yeah, I mean, wow, yeah. But all right, my friends, I guess we're going to reel it in for tonight. Thank y'all for being here. Once again, sorry about those technical difficulties where I'm going to sort that out. You have my word. There'll probably be some test streams coming up over the next couple of days while I sit here and pull my non-existent hair out. Maybe I'll pull my beard out. I don't know.
There you go.
But, all right, my friends, thank y'all for being here. We'll catch you next time. And until then, look horror.
Listen horror.
Talk horror. Yeah, hell yeah. All right. Peace, my friends.
Good night, everybody.
See y'all.